Libra, Elsie here to do your reading. It is for the week ahead. Libra, how you doing? I hope you're well. Thanks so much for stopping in here. I've got a couple of decks here. We are looking at reading for the week ahead, Libra. You know that if you are here all the time. And if you are brand new, welcome, by the way. I am reading from the Soul's Journey Oracle and the Kipper today. We're going to use those energies. We're going to blend those energies, and then we're going to throw some tarot on top and find out what the details are for the week ahead. So I'm always reading for the week ahead, whether you get this today, tomorrow, or next year. Not all of us are on the same timeline. Like, you don't have the same information I have, and there are people younger and older and of different walks of life, so it's not going to resonate for everybody. And if it resonates for you, maybe you can let me know in the comments. Let's find out what is going on for Libra. Look, if you're my ride or die, thanks for coming back. I appreciate you here. Tell me about Libra. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. What does Libra need to know for the week ahead? Tell me about Libra. We have loneliness. I know that I am never alone. So loneliness and being alone are two different things. You can feel lonely, but you don't necessarily have to feel alone. Do you know what I mean? So I think this is what this energy is here, that I think I'm talking to someone who is maybe alone. Maybe you're not paired off with anybody. You don't have a significant other. Feels like you are somebody who is possibly alone, but I don't think you're experiencing loneliness. We do have the guilt card. It says, I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. So this might be the reason for the loneliness or being alone, because this is part of the spiritual awakening, whether we like it or not. So if you are a person who is finding that all of your friends are leaving, people are dropping like flies, they're not calling you back, they're not texting you back, it's because there is, because it's like your belief system has changed. And you're no longer resisting your soul's growth, but you're feeling guilty because you can't take the people that you want to take with you into the next vibration. You can't force them to do it. They have to do it of their own, volition. They have to be able to do it on their own. So I feel like you might be heading next week into a period of maybe loneliness. I think the universe might be testing you with a little bit of loneliness, but it doesn't mean you're alone, right? It says you're never alone. Tell me more about Libra. We've got friendship. Yeah, that's what it feels like. So look, when it comes down to it, sometimes friendships will fall apart, because when you decide that you are no longer dealing with things that don't assist in your soul's growth, and the people around you are still settling for the same vibration, when you begin to move away, friendships start to drop off. It says, I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. Look, it could be somebody who set off your realization about what's going on or the people that you're hanging out with. We do have a card of love and happiness. Look, that's what's in the future. This is the bottom of the deck for me is the future. It says, I commit to practice of seeing the good in all things. Happiness is, I'm aware that being happy means that I'm on the right path. And this really is key. Every time it comes up, I will say so, but this really is the key. The key is that when that if you are going the wrong way, life is miserable. I see it all the time. People show up in the comments to be miserable, just to say something terrible about someone that they dated or whatever. They're just in a vibration where they're not happy. And what they don't realize is when you're not happy, you're going in the wrong direction. Wrong thought pattern, wrong direction. And this really is what's telling you that you're going on the right path. It says, I'm aware that being happy means I'm on the right path. And if you are happy, a person who is happy and has love in your heart, you can probably realize that you are on the right path. And regardless of who hangs out with you or not, once you get to this place where you are deciding to let go of people in your life that no longer match your vibration, you're allowed to do that. Tell me about loneliness, please, for Libra. Tell me about Libra. We've got the wealthy man. Excuse me. You might be this wealthy man, feminine or masculine, really, because we don't know if the wealthy man is leaning feminine or masculine. But we have card number 13. It really does feel like there are things that are coming to an end in your life. I really do feel, Libra, that you're about to leave an old vibration and move into a new one. And so this wealthy man, it shows somebody here who's dressed really well. So it definitely could be somebody who has a lot of money. But the wealth is a lot of things. It's wealth, health. It's wealth in mental health. It's if you have mental fitness, right? It's you can be wealthy, and it doesn't have to do with money. But I feel like your wealth, you could have a lot of money, possibly you do, but I feel like your wealth comes from knowing when it's time to go. It's always important to know when to leave the vibration, the room, the party, it's good to know when to go. So I feel like that you are in the midst of transformation, and that's why it feels lonely. And it will, because once you stop taking the guilt, once you decide that you're no longer just going to hang around in the old vibration just so you don't feel guilty about walking away from people who no longer serve your worth or your soul's growth. I feel like this is what's happening here for you next week. Look, for some of you, that it could possibly be that that's happening in a really important relationship that you're in right now. Maybe you're still married because of guilt. And look, I'm a person who believes in marriage, but if you're in a place where you are in some type of union or a marriage and you're only there for guilt because you don't want to hurt the other person, or you don't want to leave because the kids would be upset, I feel like somebody here is making a really big move as it pertains to, it could be that you are talking to someone about this, their marriage possibly, but it does really feel like somebody here who could be in a marriage or a committed relationship is only there out of guilt. Tell me about friendship. Tell me about friendship, please. We do have the courthouse. So there it is. It does feel like maybe you have a friend who's a lawyer. Maybe you have a friend who's in your life for a reason. Maybe that person is somebody who's trying to help you, liberate yourself. Yeah. So we do have 13, 3, and 23. We have 3, 3, 3. And so it feels like you are on the right path. So if you are somebody who's in this situation, and I'm not telling you that your marriage is dying, I'm not telling you that you have to leave. If this doesn't resonate with you, please just click on the X and carry on. But this might be important for somebody who is actually going through the situation. I feel like maybe you have the guilt, or you haven't left yet because of the community. Maybe you just don't want other people in your business. We've got card number 39, which is a 12. It's like your intuition is telling you that the community might look at you, aw, poor you, poor Libra, like looking at you as if you're impoverished, right? Some of you maybe aren't leaving because you don't want the financial hit, and that could be a guilt in itself, for sure. All right. I feel so, oh yes. I dropped a card. There we go. Dropped a few. And then I didn't pick it up. It was just before the camera came on. All right. Here we go. Let's talk about you, Libra. Let's get some tarot on it. Libra, if you're interested in a private read, please know my private reads are still open. Please look in the pinned comment. You'll need to go to Hipsy. If you've already got a username and password for Wizio, it will work in the Hipsy site. They are sister sites. Here we go. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Tell me about Libra, please. Tell me about Libra. There's transformation going on, and it might feel a little lonely where you are right now. We've got the Knight of Pentacles. Maybe you've been in this cycle for a while, because look, the Knight of Pentacles isn't going anywhere. The Knight of Pentacles is somebody who's going to endure, right? They have endurance, and they have patience, and they have an eye for detail, or the analytics, going over the details. And it feels like you've been in this, possibly this energy of transformation for a while. It feels like it's taking forever here. We'll go back and we'll clarify a little bit. Tell me about guilt. We've got the Sun. You're having a breakthrough in midweek next week. It is some sort of a breakthrough here, that if this does not assist in my soul's growth, I just don't have to hang out here. I feel like there is guilt, though, because the Sun is also children and family, right? And I feel like you just don't want to hurt the kids. You don't want to do that. Of course, nobody ever does, but it does feel like somebody here might have a committed relationship that is currently breaking down, or maybe it has been for a while. We do have the courthouse, which is card number 23, which is a 5, and that is lack. And so I feel like you have a friendship, a special friend here that might be helping you through this process here. Maybe it's a special friend that you have love for, whether it's romantic or platonic love. The 2 of Cups is telling me that there is somebody in your life that you do have the same feelings for that they have for you. Now, this could be friendship. It doesn't have to be love. It can be friendship as well. So it feels like this is somebody who you reach out for or reaches out for you. This might be someone who is trying to help you along this process of being your friend while things are breaking down in your love life, possibly. Tell me about the Knight of Pentacles, please. Tell me about the Knight of Pentacles for Libra. We've got the 8 of Cups, we've got the Queen of Wands, and we have the Ace of Wands. It does feel like somebody here is about to make a bold move and detach from a situation or a group of people or of old vibration is what it feels like. And so sometimes we linger in the middle, right? So let's just say you have this soul tribe of people, and you know that when Susie walks out of the room, that those 3 people are just going to talk trash about Susie until she gets back from the bathroom. And you also know that if they're doing it to Susie, they're probably doing it to you. It feels like somebody here has been sort of in this transformational energy, realizing that the people that they are closest to are probably not the best people for their life. And this has been a really long, arduous process for you, because I don't feel like you wanted to disconnect or let go. But the Queen of Wands is asking you to please make a bold move. Make a bold move and do the best thing that is best for you. Do the thing that is going to make you feel passion in your heart and excitement. It's time for you to light up a new path here. And I feel like the reason that you haven't done it up till now is because you don't want to feel lonely. You don't want to be in the loneliness here. Tell me about guilt. So I think for some of you, we're talking about friendships or a friend group, or, people you've been hanging out with for a long time. And for others of you, it could be a relationship, a marriage possibly. Tell me about the Sun. There's a breakthrough going on here for somebody next week. And look, I'm just going to say that Venus going direct is doing its thing. And I think it's Neptune too is doing its thing. It's like the truth talking is going on now, my friends. This is the time for truth talking. We're going to see lots of things break in half because of truth that's coming to the surface here. We do have the 3 of Pentacles. We have the Hierophant. And we have the 4 of Pentacles. And so it is something, it feels like you've been holding it back in favor of this happy family, I want to say. The Emperor is here. It's time for you to take charge on the bottom of the deck here in order to bring balance back into your life. And you're allowed to be happy, my friend. So I think you are going to have to say something. And I'm just going to say be careful in the way that you say it, because it's going to be said about the family home or something like that. You cannot avoid the changes when the Wheel of Fortune comes by. You cannot avoid the changes. And although the changes can be really tough, 5 of Wands, the changes can be really hard to endure. The Wheel of Fortune shows up for expansion and for change, because it's destined that this change take place here, because we're rolling toward your happiness here with the 3 of Cups. It's time for you to be happy, for you to be balanced, for you to take control of a situation here. So we do have the Sun and we have the 3 of Pentacles. So this is the audit, right? The Sun next to the 3 of Pentacles is I'm looking at my workplace. For some of you, you could be quitting your job. Maybe you're just going to tell the employer exactly what you think and you're going to leave. So we have the 3 of Pentacles next to the Sun, which tells me you're looking over your friend groups, your networks. You're looking over your communities. Do I even want to be part of this community anymore? You're looking over the workplace. You're also looking over your commitments, the Hierophant, your structures. What have I put in place? Are these really the structures that I want? I feel like for the longest time you were holding back and not wanting to look at any of this, but I don't think you can avoid it anymore, because when the Sun is here, everything, you see everything. Everything is out in the light, in the daytime here. So I feel like you've been holding back from making some really big changes in your life here. And I feel like it's going to be in the week ahead where you start to see the biggest changes in your life. We do have the King of Swords that just sort of flipped in the deck here. Tell me about the King of Swords. We do have the Devil. We have the Nine of Swords. So we've got the Wheel of Fortune. It's back on the bottom of the deck. So the King of Swords, of course, is the one who is not being very diplomatic in the way that they say things. They're just going to pull out the sword and that's it. They're just going to say it the way it is, and you're going to have to be the one that the other people are going to have to be the one who are going to have to digest it, right? So I feel like this is the energy that you're in. You're in this energy of, look, I'm just going to say it as it is, and sometimes it's going to come off harsh. I think for some of you, it's going to come off harsh because you've been holding yourself back for such a long time. I think for some of you, it could be, instead of saying to the employer, I give you my 2 weeks, maybe it's going to be like, I'm out. Like, you guys can shove the job, I'm out. Or it's the relationship thing. It's like, I can't hang on to this anymore. It's making me sad, depressed, and anxious. The King of Swords is here to bring some clarity, to say, the ace of swords is in the hand of the king. And when we add it to the 9, it brings it to the 10, so you can release it. So you can release the devil. So you can release this energy that you've been holding in, feeling attached to things, feeling codependent in relationships and friendships and maybe the job. So there's a lot of change, big change coming for you. We do have the Wheel of Fortune here. Big change is showing up for you here, Gemini. Look, your readings are always boom, to the point. I get great clarity when I read for you guys, and it happens with the air signs. And it's not to say that I'm cloudy when I'm reading for all the other signs, but I seem to get right to the point with your readings, and the clarity is so much. So I feel like somebody's giving up a community. I feel like somebody's being really honest with the people around them. For some of you, a relationship, you're coming to a realization next week that the relationship is not working and it's time to break it down. I feel like the sun being here is shining the sunlight on everything. And I feel like, really ultimately what's happening here is, in the future, you're making a path to love and happiness is what it is. I feel like when you're on the right path, it says here that you are happy, and that's how you know you're on the right path. And I feel like that's what you're doing. You're blazing trail to the next path. Yep, the Magician is here. So all the things that you've been dreaming about, hoping for, manifesting, here they come. And some of them aren't going to be easy because change is really shit, right? Change is really super hard, but the King of Swords starts wielding the sword and everybody's apt to get cut. Swords have double edge, right? So you're going to get cut, other people are going to get cut, and you're going to be cutting some people out of your life, I think. I think someone here is going through a major awakening. I'm going to leave this right here. Thank you so much for being here and watching. I appreciate you, Libra. I'll go, but I'll be back because I'm always back. You guys take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.